Starting to move a little bit. Look at that. Looks like a very young boomslang. Translated in a bit of an accented translation, maybe a boomslang, some people might call it. Essentially, the English name is just a direct use of the Afrikaans name, which translated literally means tree snake. You see that very large eye? It's a snake that can get much larger. So this one is not very big. In terms of the sort of the thickness of the body there, if you look, let's say a couple of fingers behind the head where the body sort of thickens out a bit, that would be a little bit thicker than a pencil, about the thickness of a nice big pen. And the snake itself is probably about 40 centimeters long or so, 45 centimeters maybe. Still a young snake. Tree snakes or boomslang can get relatively long. They're not monster snakes. They don't get huge, but they can get to well over a meter long, even more than that. That's definitely a young one. We'll keep an eye out in the day. It'll be very difficult to spot this. It's got a bright green color, which is why I managed to spot it with a spotlight.
Do you think it will stay in this vicinity of this tree?
Yeah, it might. It's a young snake. It's very, very young. This specific tree, and I must admit, probably of all the trees in this game reserve, this is the one that I always look at for snakes, just because years ago, 2000, 2001 somewhere, 2002 maybe, we for about 3 months maybe, we saw pythons almost all the time. You're seeing that moth. Where is it now? A little bit difficult to make it out, sitting in the leaves there. But as I was saying, in the early 2000s, there were some small baby pythons in this area, obviously from some eggs that had hatched, and a number of youngsters were up in this tree. I think at one stage we probably saw as many as 3 young pythons in the same tree for literally 2-3 months continuously. So that left a strong memory. Whenever I come past this tree, I still look for snakes, and you never know, you might just suddenly see a little boomslang. Very venomous snake, not really aggressive snakes. They don't typically bite humans. The only bites normally occur, like most other snake bites, when people mess with them, when they catch them or handle them or frighten them or aggravate them. As long as you give them their space, snakes don't have any reason or need to bite humans. They can't really eat us, so it's normally when they feel threatened or endangered or something that they bite you. Now, boomslang, this snake we're looking at, is very, very venomous. It's got a very strong hemotoxic poison, or venom really to be specific. It's not really a poison. The difference between venom and poison, just quickly, is that poisons is something that you get through your blood tissue or blood, your veins or your arteries, or through the muscle itself. So it has to be injected into the muscle, into the bloodstream. And I'm talking upside down. Sorry, I'm looking at 2 different things and talking. Let me get that again. Venom is something that has to be injected into you. So it's snakes have got venom, spiders have got venom. They bite into your muscle tissue, into your bloodstream, and that's how the venom spreads. You get different kinds of venom. I'll get back to the boomslang now. Poison, on the other hand, is something that you get into your digestive system. You digest it, you ingest it. So something like cyanide, or 2 bottles of tequila, that would be poison. Something that you get into your system through your stomach, and by digesting it, it can make you sick or kill you. And so that's why snakes aren't really poisonous. Most venoms from snakes you can drink. In the East, it's quite a common practice, I believe, in certain areas, to have a shot of cobra venom. It's supposed to give you a bit of a rush. But as long as you don't have any open cuts in your mouth, or you're not bleeding from stomach ulcers or anything like that, it's not dangerous. It's only when blood gets into your blood system. Now, speaking of blood, this specific snake has got a hemotoxin, like I mentioned just now. That's a toxin basically that, unlike your other venoms, let's say a mamba or a cobra, they've got a neurotoxin that attacks your nervous system. So you start struggling to breathe, or your heart starts struggling to work. Things like puff adders or rattlesnakes, they've got a cytotoxic venom. It gives you tissue damage, essentially gives you massive necrosis on the bite or gangrene. Quite a rare venom this, the boomslang, and also your vine snake or twig snake that we also get around here. They've got a hemotoxin that breaks your red blood cells down, so it means that your body or the blood loses the ability to some extent to congeal, and it also means that you literally, it's very, very horrible what happens if you get bitten by this, but you eventually will bleed to death, to the point where you'll start bleeding from everywhere, your gums, your eyes, your skin, pores eventually even. So not the kind of snake you want to get bitten by, but then again, they don't really bite people. What one? Oh, yeah. Guys, well, just Jan, see if you can bend it quickly. We're just going to leave it on this shot for a little bit. We're going to move on quite soon. Don't think this little snake is going to do too much. Jan just needs to have a quick peek at the antenna there. It's not quite as straight as it could be. There you go. Other thing also, sorry, just to keep, or to get back to that, I don't want to go on too much about it. Sometimes I feel like a lot of documentaries tend to go on too much about how dangerous things are and how vicious things are and how we're all going to die if we don't watch out. It's not the case. This snake, even if you handled it, would probably still not bite you. It's only if it gets aggravated or really disturbed or bothered by you that it'll start and try and bite you. And also your boomslang have got back fangs, so they don't have teeth or fangs like a cobra or a puff adder that can inject venom into you. They actually have to chew on you a little bit and get hold of you somewhere. And a snake this small would literally have to bite you in between your fingers or on your earlobe for it to be able to get any venom into your system. Let's have a quick look there, Jan. How's it looking? Can't hear you? As I think we're just going to quickly leave the snake. Actually, no, we'll just leave the light on it. Sorry. We just have a bit of a problem with the antenna. Not